All right, folks, it's time to make a quick and easy background just using Copics to put our card together. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take your house and you're going to just kind of find out where you want it to sit. And then you're just going to make some marks so you know where to put the ground. And I'm going to be doing a stone fence and I'm going to be doing some sky. So I'm just going to take my W0 marker just because it's light. And I'm just going to decide where I want everything to be. So I'm going to have the ground end right about here. So I'm just kind of putting in a mark. Then I know my stone fence is going to go up about this high. And then I know my sky is going to be above it. And then I want to add in some extra trees. So I'm probably going to put one about here and one about here up a little taller. So once I've made those marks, I'm going to move this out of the way. So I'm going to be using a few Copics and I'm going to go through them as I use them. So first for the grass area, I'm going to be using G94, YG63, and G24. So we're going to start with our darkest color. And this time we're going to be using our chisel nib. So we're going to be using G94, that grayish olive. And we're going to just turn our cardstock. And now this cardstock, I should mention, is cut to 5x7. So I've made this a larger size card. And all I'm doing is just ribboning straight across in a continuous motion here. Now next we're going to go with that YG63, which is our pea green. And again, continuous motions, and I'm going to go across what I just did and blend it down a little bit. And it doesn't need to be perfect. Then we're going to go in with our G24, which is our willow. So this is our willow color, and we can kind of see that top line that I made. So I'm going to go right across here. And of course, you can use any combination of greens that you like or other colors that might suit better. All right, so now I kind of have my green grass area here. Next, I'm going to go in and I'm going to put in a stone border fence. So I'm going to use my W5, which is our warm gray number 5, and I'm going to use our brush nib. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to look to see where that tree is. And then I'm going to put in my first kind of stone rock, and I'm going to end it there. And then what I want to do now is I'm going to put in my tree trunks before I finish off that fence. So I'm going to take my E44, which is my clay. I'm going to use that chisel nib, and I'm going to just start right beside where I have this stone, kind of go right over it. And I'm going to go up in 3 lines, and then just kind of wiggle the bottom there a bit. And then I'm going to go up again a little higher for my next tree, and just a little bit of a wiggle. And I'm off a little bit from my points, but that's okay because it does not need to be perfect. All right, so now that we have those trees marked in there, now we know that we're going to have our next stone kind of in between. And then I'm going to come over here, and I'm kind of making everything kind of come out. And we want these just kind of any shape. A lot of these are going to be covered by your houses and your characters. And really, it can look like anything you want it to. So there, I've just kind of put in those first lines, and that was with my W5. And now I'm going to go back in with my W4, and we're going to go up, inside and around. And here we can kind of, and again, we're not looking for perfection. This is kind of a quick, cartoony, sketched in, colored in background. And we go a little across the top of some of these. So we're kind of going darkest to lightest here. So as we started with the W5, and then we're gonna shade this in around that tree. Same here. that was your W4. Now we're going into our W2. And our W2, we're going to just kind of mesh it in there and go over. So again, we're not looking for perfection here. We want it to be just look kind of a little bit crude, I would say, is here. And that helps too, because then it doesn't really matter what it looks like. So now I'm going in with my W0 and I'm just kind of blending this in. And I'm not paying too much attention to how I'm doing this. There, you can see how quick that was. Then I'm gonna just go in with my W4. Just bring a little bit more color and shading out from some of the bottom and the sides here, and some of these little rocks. And then I'm gonna go in with my W5 once more, just to make a little bit more definition in there and give it a little bit more shadow to that side. A little over here. And finally, we'll go back in with our W2 and we're gonna just add some little dots to these rocks. And again, just remember, they're kind of cartoony. So once we have our little rocks done, we can go ahead and start with our sky. So we're going to be doing our B41, which is our powder blue. Now you're going to want to take your brush nib here, and what you're going to do is just kind of follow along your rock line. You don't necessarily have to hit it, but we're going to get as close as we can. And then we're going to stop at that tree and we're going to move right here and right there. And then you just want to kind of go across again. And here again, now we're going to want to use our chisel nib again. And the chisel nib, if you can get it as close to these lines as possible. Then we're going to go ahead and go in with our B21, which is our baby blue. Again, we're just going to hit it with chisel nib. Now here we want to try and go with continuous lines across from this tree trunk as best we can. And then over here into the middle and coming out from the side. I'm going to go a little bit higher there with this blue. You can see I even kind of went over the tree, and it's not going to make a huge difference. So that is our B21. And finally, we're going to end off with our B01, which is actually our mint blue. And again, we're going to do chisel nib. So we're really kind of changing up our sky color here, just to kind of, again, have like a more cartoony kind of look. So, and again, we just want to keep it simple. We've already done all our hard work with all our coloring and our die building. So there we have the beginnings of most of our background work. So now we're going to take that chisel nib on our E44 and let's go ahead and put some little lines into this tree. And I'm just alternating kind of side to side there. And I'm just using that chisel tip. There we go. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to go in with our E43. After we've done that, we're going to use our brush nib. So this is our dull ivory. And I'm just going to go ahead and just go in a little bit on that outside of that trunk. Next, we're going to move on to our BG99, which is our flagstone blue. So we're going to, here, what you're going to want to do with this is we're kind of want to mimic this shape. So if you want to have it near you, so what I'm going to do is just draw in kind of the bottom of our tree. And really, it's exactly that simple. Then I'm going to go in with our BG96 with is our bush. And again, I am using our brush nib, and I'm just kind of going in, just defining that tree a little bit more. Then I'm going to go ahead and move this out of the way. I want a little centerpiece as well. I'm using my RV09, which is our fuchsia, and I'm going to use my brush nib, and I'm going to go ahead and put in that little funky center part to these trees. Now what we want to do is throw in a little bit of spots in the grass. So we're going to go ahead and use our YG63 real quick, and we're going to be using our brush nib. And I'm just kind of making a little bit of kind of oval spots just to kind of break up our grass. And again, I want it just to have a little bit of a cartoony look. And we'll throw some flicks in around the bottom of these trees a little bit, and some into around those rocks. And we can go ahead and we can also go in with our G94, and we'll add a little bit of detail coming in from that bottom as well. Just add some little bit more blades of grass around, a little bit of vegetation for our prehistoric modern. I don't ever know why they call it a modern Stone Age family. Maybe because they had more than what other families did. I'm not sure. All right, so there it is. There is our quick, super quick background on a 5x7 piece, and we are now ready to go ahead and assemble our card and put it all together. All right, to finish up our card, we're going to put it all together. So I have made this super easy. I have just pre-taped everything with double-sided tape because you don't need to see me glue and tape all the time. So I'm just going to peel off everywhere I put my double-sided tape. I am going to put down this house first because it is the biggest piece and everything will be layered on top of it. So my die cut pieces that I have put together, the Homestead Builder, this Bedrock Homestead Builder, and Dino, I decided to do with double-sided tape because they already have a lot of dimension. And then I decided, you know what, I'm going to use pop dots for and it's going to put this kind of in a square line here. We'll get up here, just so I know where I'm putting stuff, and my house is going to go right there. There's my house, and you can kind of see how I have that mimicked with the trees and even the direction here. Then we're going to go ahead and we're going to put our Dino down. So he has just double-sided adhesive here. And this is just our own from Stamp Anything that I am using, as well with the pop dots. Sorry, just kind of peeling this off to the side real quick. I have to say I love how this card is kind of coming together, but I think it's because I love the Yabba Dabba Doo set. Like, who doesn't love the Flintstones because of how iconically nostalgic it is, probably to my childhood. So I think I've decided to put my Dino, I'm going to put him right here. So we are going to cover up some of the house. I am totally okay with that. We have our little Pebbles. She's so sweet and cute. I'm going to head and remove these backings now too. I love pop dots, so you may think I'm using too many. That's okay. And I'm going to put her right, we're going to put her right here. Let's tuck her in. That she's kind of like right there with Dino. So nicely popped up here. And then this is where maybe I was a little excessive. Did I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Did I need 6 pop dots on Bam Bam? I don't know. But I did it. Oop. And then Bam Bam, he is going to go, we'll give him a little bit of room outside this house. Maybe, yeah, you know what? Let's kind of layer him up a little bit near Dino too. Maybe just a little bit. All right, there we go. And finally, we have the Great Kazoo. All right. Oh, look, and I only gave him 2 pop dots. See, I can be sparing. And the Great Kazoo, I kind of just want him floating somewhere. Just kind of coming to say hi. Maybe he's floating. Maybe right about there. And now we still have some room for a sentiment wherever I decide to put it. So now again, this was 5 by 7. So what I want to do is I'm going to mat it, and I cut out this orange piece here. I'm going to just add some glue very sloppily. You don't even want to see what I just did here because it is travesty. You can tell what I just did. There was a malfunction. So I'm going to just spread that. Oh, no, that's wrong. You don't want to spread that glue out too far to the sides, Kevin. All right. Let's go ahead and pretend like that disaster didn't just happen. We're going to put it up here. So this was cut to 5 1/4 by 7 1/4. Thankfully, this glue dries nice and clear. I'm just gonna wipe some of that glue off my fingers. Sorry about that. And I'm gonna go ahead and kind of get this positioned in my card here. This is a lesson, don't rush your cards. There we go. Look at, we have a cute little card here with just a very simple design. And if you want, you can go in and you can touch it up a little bit. You can add a little bit of detail if you want. Like if you go in with some Micron pen, maybe you want to outline some of these details a little bit. Just add just a little bit more into there. And you can even go ahead in with your markers, with your W2, and you can go ahead and you can give that house a little bit of a shadow. And you can go ahead and put some under your characters as well. But thank you for joining me for this card journey with me, Kevin, and for Stamp Anything. And if you haven't heard it yet, and I don't know if you have, but our new slogan is stamp it, color it, and love it. So I hope you all get to stamp it, color it, and love it soon, and we'll see you next time.